My understanding and interpretation of the works of the law differ from the modern-day Christian interpretation. Most Christians believe that the works of the law refer to the actions performed to fulfill the law of Moses. They teach that the works of the law refer to Sabbath observance, the food laws, the Ten Commandments, the annual feast days of God, the Levitical services, etc. However, I disagree with this interpretation. The phrase works of the law can be found in Galatians chapter 2, verse 16, and Rabbi Paul says, "A man is not justified by the works of the law." When Paul speaks about the works of the law, he's not talking about perfectly obeying the law of God. Paul is talking about the ritual practices that function as Jewish identity markers, primarily circumcision. In Acts chapter 15, verse 1, we read about the influencers who were most likely proselytes came to the church in Galatia and told the God-fearing Gentiles that believed in the Messiah, the Jewish Messiah, Yeshua, Jesus, "Unless you are circumcised according to the custom of Moses, you cannot be saved." This is the works of the law. This is why Paul wrote Galatians. Paul was saying that you don't become righteous by being circumcised. You don't become righteous by becoming Jewish. Paul wrote, a man is not justified by the works of the law, but through faith in the Messiah. In other words, a man is not saved by becoming legally Jewish by ritual circumcision, but through his allegiance to the Jewish Messiah, Yeshua, Jesus of Nazareth. There must be a path or a way for God-fearing Gentiles to honor the God of Israel. For Rabbi Paul, this is faith in the Jewish Messiah. It's their allegiance to Yeshua as King. According to Acts 15, some of the Gentiles who had accepted Paul's message had repented of their sins and were following Yeshua and had converted and became Jewish to be saved. They were convinced to do this by people who had not accepted Paul's gospel, which again was that Gentiles could follow the Jewish Messiah without becoming Jewish. Paul knew that God-fearing Gentiles were a fulfillment of biblical prophecy. He knew that God had said to Abraham, "And you, all the families of the earth, will be blessed." This is Genesis chapter 12, verse 3. Not just Abraham's descendants, but everyone would be blessed. If the God-fearing Gentiles in Galatia converted and became Jewish, these prophecies about the nations joining themselves to the God of Israel would go unfulfilled. Rabbi Paul tells the God-fearing Gentiles to remain in their calling, in their identity, and in their prophetic destiny as those from the nations who had attached themselves to Israel through Yeshua the Messiah.